Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are into our fourth game of this best of 5 grand final between Team Orca and Lilgun. And it is MLP johnxfire. John, welcome back. So, how you doing?
Doing great, Mike. Love to see this from Orca. They take the TA themselves already. We were all in draft game number 4. Potentially the last game if Orca manages to find a win. Of course, Lilgun wouldn't want to give that away, Mike. They've been looking good. They've had their moments, a bit up and down. Game 2 was a lot closer. I think Game 3 was a straight-up win for Orca. They did manage to work their draft a lot better. But we're seeing that switch up here in our 4th game. Orca, again, TA tied to start. That combination just never ends, does it, Mike? And Lilgun take the Sand King Bane. So they take away the Menu Ping Bane, removing it from Orca, which he's done insane work on. So these guys, they have a gentleman's agreement. We'll take your hero, you take ours. We'll have a little swap and see what happens. I love the gentlemanship from both sides to get that done. I am keen to see what Lilgun will be able to pick up next. And I love that Orca protect the TA pick. They ban out Ember, they ban out Tiny, both heroes that can just melt through TA's refraction and laning phase. And they're just securing that lane now for Citrus. It does look like that should be our mid. There is still some flex there for VT Faded to take it on his safe lane. So we'll see where the cards fall, but Orca does have that flexibility on hand here.
Yeah, they certainly do, John. More bans to come, and some people have been asking us, Jonathan, on Twitter, are we casting and watching 2 grand finals at the same time? The answer is you bet your damn ass we are. Of course we are, Jonathan. We're not missing out on the Boom Grand Finals either. I mean, obviously this Grand Finals is hype, and we're loving every second of it. But John, we've got to support both the boys. I mean, we got to support everyone. There's too much SEA Dota going on today.
Yeah, we've got to stand up for Southeast Asia. You know, everyone's been looking down on us, Mike, for a long time, and finally, we can prove what we've been saying for all this time. I'm happy to see. Such a great day for Southeast Asia. Great grand finals. I mean, these are Div 2 teams that beat out some Div 1 teams to get into a grand final. It's like that. If that's not ridiculous enough already, having Boom go all the way in their lower bracket run as well is pretty nuts. So I'm a happy lad. The draft is looking good. Mike, we had this discussion about this kind of draft from Lilgun. Not from Lilgun. They didn't run this before, but this combination of Sand King Hoodwink, you said you didn't like it in our group chat. No. I said I liked it. I said the combination's so strong. And it is strong. And I love it coming out from Lilgun. They're changing things up. And this plays in with the aggression that Lilgun is known for. So things are looking good on draft. There's not much flexibility. I mean, I say that. We have seen Hoodwink safe lane. I don't think that's the call for Lilgun, but you never know with these guys. Still, Sand King Hoodwink as a dual lane is already painful. And that's set up for a big Burrow Strike in the mid game. It's looking sweeter and sweeter for Lilgun.
Oh, that it is, John. This Team Orca, they go into the Disruptor now, and it's a nice way of keeping track of the Hoodwink, I'd say, with the Thunderstrike, as Scurry can be a little bit annoying to go against, and naturally also another easy way to get rid of the Bane Fiend script, just with the Glimpse if you need to. Have been seeing Disruptor pop up a bit more often. And we'll go into the Lion as well, which is something I wasn't quite expecting, but I'm sure you're very happy to see it. John, how do you feel about this pickup?
I like it. I think Yif and Menu Ping both have really great lines. Of course, it's likely Menu Ping will take the Disruptor. That gives you a really good source of burst already, a good amount of control that you are kind of lacking when you do pick the Disruptor support. They were kind of stuck in just Ravage, really, to play with. So Lion gives them more options. Gives them a little bit of openings here for Orca to play with. Lion Tide Lane is pretty decent as well. It's actually not that bad. Play with a Gush Slow. Play with the Earth Spike from a mile away, start to run down the enemy hero on the safe lane for Lilgun. It covers a lot of bases, so kind of makes it hard to pick something that's very mobile here on the end of Lilgun. Something like the Puck, Lion can punish really well, and just allows them that much needed hard control that the lineup just doesn't have. So I like where it's going there. The Kunkka does come out for Lilgun, and this is tying into a really strong draft. Mike, this is looking like a Boom Esports draft, isn't it? When they ran that offlane Sand King and Hoodwink, I think they had the Kunkka on hand as well, and the Bane. So this is a great draft from Lilgun. Throwing back to Boom Esports for some reason. Can they pull it off is a different question, but considering how they've been playing, Mike, I don't doubt that at all.
No, neither do I, John. I wonder what they finish off with their carry, though. I can't believe it. I mean, John, Medusa's not
What?
banned. Medusa is not banned. Now, hear me
Let's
out.
bring it back.
Hear me out. Do you think VT Faded would like a 4th game of Medusa in a row? Like, what if we threw TA mid and we just... I know it sounds really stupid, right? Because then you're going to have 2 really greedy calls. But think about it. For the sake of the memes, Jonathan, does VT Faded want to go for a 4th Medusa game?
If he's truly mad in the head, if there's really something wrong with him, yeah, he would. I don't think VT Faded's that far out. Jaho is not that crazy, so hopefully not. What other options does he have though that plays a little bit faster with a TA? I guess there's an option for a Luna. TB has just not been picked, and I think it's fair. Maybe they feel like the pacing of that here is too slow. But Luna's an option as well. I think I'd prefer a Luna. It does farm pretty fast, not as slow as Sedusa, and it does have earlier presence if you do manage to invest in your Lucent Beams in the Eclipse. Gives them a lot of team fight as well. Lane matchup against Sand King isn't the greatest. Medusa does have a better lane against the Sand King, to be fair, Mike. So it could fit in for Orca's draft, and could also fit in for Lilgun's draft if they want that. Like, put Kunkka mid for Sanctity, 4-2-3 on Medusa. Again, just replicating a Boom Esports draft, which is very, very interesting to see. I think for Orca, it's back to your point. Citrus is playing the win condition. Give VT Faded something a little bit faster here.
Final banner. Lilgun just appear to be focusing on the mids. Even the safe lane quap, I suppose, is a thing. You do expect the TA to, be the carry of this game, that is. Nice ways of dealing with the refraction this game, though. Like, you've got Kunkka, you've like Torrent, Sandstorm, Bushwhack does tick damage as well. Very, very nice ways of trying to deal with it. You don't need to sound so smug, Jonathan, when you're telling everyone how correct you were about Sanking Hoodwink, by the way. That's your job, right, Jonathan. Your job is to be correct, Jonathan.
You're right, Mike. I shouldn't be too happy for just doing my job.
Every time you do something right, you're like, oh, look at that, Mike. Look at it. I'm doing my job. I just sit there every time, like, we pay this idiot to sit in his house and talk just complete crap for hours on end. His damn camera doesn't even work properly. Look at his internet. It doesn't even work properly. Woo-hoo! There's the Razor. Well, Razor comes out for Team Orca. Imagine that, Jonathan. No Medusa.
No, yeah. No Medusa, and there's some flexibility here. Citrus can take the Razor mid to match up against the Kunkka, giving the TA a better lane on the side. TA versus Sand King still sounds pretty bad, so you might actually prefer the Kunkka lane. I don't think you mind either way. Razor versus Sand King is also pretty decent anyway. Level 1 Burst Strike doesn't really get you out completely of range of that static link. So that's the tempo core from Orca we're expecting. Build up on Razor is just so quick now. You really just need Falcon Blade, Power Treads, BKB, Refresh, and that, not in that order, but in that rough set. And then you're pretty much set to go. So I like seeing that from Orca. I think Lilgun will need to respond with something fast as well. Never mind about what I said about Terrorblade. It does come out for Lilgun this time. So they take the VT Faded special in their side. How is it that throughout all the time I've been saying Terrorblade's a pick, it comes in right when I say, well, I don't think teams are going to pick it at this point. It still comes out, which is interesting. There you go.
I don't know if I'm hearing things. It must be because it's late at night. Did you say VT Faded Terrorblade comes out?
No. I didn't say VT Faded. Taking it away from VT Faded.
Okay.
Taking his special on their side as well.
I was going to say, why would he even take it away, John? They've got the full draft going right now for Team Orca. What are they saying? You're acting like it's an eye pick.
They have a secret sixth pick. That doesn't come true because they take that Terrorblade. That's it.
Oh, John. Oh. There I was a few days ago complaining about why you and I don't ever get invited to LANs and,
really helping the cause there, huh?
Yeah.
Let's talk about circles, Mike. I feel like overall, I think Orca did come out with a stronger draft. Not just because of their circles, but they've got the picks to handle what Lilgun has. Now, mind you, Lilgun does have good ways of melting refraction. I think you can expect a lot of space coming out from Orca to give Citrus those timings he needs. Still some questions about the Terrorblade. It just hasn't been picked up recently anymore, especially in this new patch. I don't think we've seen a game on this patch with a TB at all, even from TB-centric teams. So I'm keen to see what Lilgun does. This is a bit out of their comfort zone. Again, they lost the TA to Orca. They didn't have the Grimstroke and Lycan combinations. Feels like Orca has managed to get a grip on the draft, as we've got an amazing set of disconnects, Mike.
Yeah.
And instant reconnects.
Beautiful. That's what you love to see, John. I do agree with you on the sentiment, by the way. I do get a little bit concerned about the TB pickup here from Lilgun. The draft, it's a very interesting draft, right? And I'm not saying it can't work. I'm just saying when you look at Team Orca's draft, it just looks much easier to execute. And at the end of the day, if this Razor closes the gap on this TB, we've seen what Razor does, John. It tends to take all your damage away, even through Metamorphosis. So I wonder if the last two games have kind of gotten to Lilgun a little bit.
Yeah, there might be a factor of that. We'll just have to see how much more 4-2-3 can get in lane. And considering his lane matchup, up against the Tide, it's also not the easiest. Whenever Metamorphosis is down, that lane gets extremely hard for a TV. You've got enough minus armor to kind of remove his base armor start of 7 down to 4. You can get a lot of good right clicks off. And the damage output of Tide by level 3 or level 4 is pretty good. So you have to watch yourself there in Lilgun. And again, a lot of emphasis here on Ace 12 playing Bane this time around to look for those defensive plays. But yeah, the scaling of the TB is also going to be tough. Even if you don't static link the TB, you can always static link the Kunkka. And that's a very easy target to keep pinned down, which will be a cause of concern because even the Kunkka plays around damage as well, right? Like you get BKB, you sometimes get Armlet, sometimes Silver Edge, pretty open build-up, but you do need that burst for the mid-game. A lot of that weight is on Sanctity, and the Razor still counters him out as well.
Well, maybe a bit of a fight of the bounty runes here. John GY. He's going to rock up on the Tide. I don't know if Lilgun will even try to contest this. Might just be a very even kind of trade here between the bounties. And it will be. No real shots being fired either way. While we're around, we may as well start with the top lane as well, as you've got GY and Yif there on the Lion Tide combo. Ace 12 and 4-2-3 on the TB and the Bane. I've got to say, it's been a long time since we've seen Tide Lion together, because it's usually Tide Snapfire or Tide Weaver. Tide Lion though, John, how do you feel about this?
I think it's still pretty good. You don't really use the Gush all too well in terms of lining up for right-click exchange. Not like Snapfire, double stun's a little bit more awkward. Well, single stun's a little bit more awkward in that you don't manage to drag your Tide closer. But it's still a very manageable lane. Like, Yif is going to have some good trades to come out. He won't feel like trading the best up against a Bane. Brain Sap just makes that pretty hard for Lion. At the same time, you are already getting some good presence out here from GY. And this is one of his specialties along with Mars. It's almost always either Mars or Tide for this guy in the off lane. So he knows the ins and out of this matchup. 4-2-3, again, playing with early reflection as we tend to see from some Terrorblades. When Metamorphosis is up, it does get a little bit more manageable. But you have to respect that by level 2, Yif with perhaps the Hex or Mandarin can keep him pinned down. And GY is still going to be fairly durable on the Tide to rip apart.
Yeah. Of course, over in the mid lane, Sanctity and Citrus against each other here in the Kunkka TA matchup. I made the comment earlier, John, it does feel like there's plenty of ways to get through the refraction charges of Citrus. And Kunkka generally just wins out the mid lane no matter who he's against. Unless it's like a Viper or something. At least for now, though, Citrus, pretty even. In fact, he's ahead of the Kunkka, so seems like things are pretty good so far for this TA.
The one thing for the TA in this lane matchup is that if you do manage to get a couple of melt strikes off, it becomes a lot easier for TA. If you force out a lot of regen on the side of Sanctity, Torrent is going to be a really good way to clear out those refraction stacks. And I get tongue-tied with reflection in the same game. It really confuses my dumb brain. So you have to land those torrents. Without the X setup, it's a lot harder. And in this kind of back and forth, it is favorable for Citrus just because he's not shut down. Rune control is maybe a little bit more important for a Kunkka, especially the power runes, as you will want to play for the rotation potential. So we're going to have to see Lilgun perhaps commit a little bit earlier to enable that from Sanctity.
Bit of a cheeky static link, but that's going to be an easy burrow strike away from 11. It's been kind of the same story every game of this grand final, but First Blood does not tend to come out very early when it's between these two teams. Both of them just... They do play on the edge, but it's just a matter of they know each other so well, it seems, that they just don't give the complete opening to take that First Blood, and it's always a very close affair when it does happen. I wonder, John, do you want to take a guess as to which lane the first blood happens in this time?
That's a good question, Mike. I think it can happen in any of the side lanes. Probably bot. I feel like Sand King Hoodwink's the more aggressive lane. That's where it can comp off. If not bot, then mid, just because a TA would meld and make short work of Kunkka if Sand King's not careful. So, eyes out for bot and mid. That's the likely candidates there, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to taking the occasional bounty.
And Kishka will see if he can land a nice bushwhack, but generally with the setup of the Burrow Strike, it's not too hard. You generally want to go for the level 3 mark first. And there is a bushwhack out. Very low duration though. I suppose with Burrow Strike, Sandstorm, and Bushwhack, maybe you could hope to set up a kill on this Disruptor, but there hasn't really been many openings. Like Menu Ping, he understands how kind of squishy he is right now if they do land that combination. They are not going to give the opening over. Instead though, Kishka, they'll see Menu Ping walking past, but again, they're not within range to really set up properly. Link out,
Does
but
manage to
yeah.
managed to get a good block on the triangle while he managed to run up, including the sentry, so no stacks for Yif to build up. No sentry as well. Taking away some of those resources. Does have one in the courier. Should be able to make that work. GY is left alone though. Metamorphosis in 9 seconds. 43 could look to be aggressive. That is level 2 Kraken Shell. A lot of the damage isn't going to be flying out here.
Surprisingly enough, I haven't asked you this today, John. Have you had
well.
merienda?
It's kind of late for merienda now, Mark, but I think I did. I had like leftover pancakes. Yeah.
Right.
And popped it in the microwave as a gentleman tends to do.
Wow.
Our refined senses, of course.
Sounds revolting.
Pile on some syrup. No, it's lovely. Just some hot pancakes, leftover pancakes with some syrup. I think I had like a 4-day-old, 5-day-old refrigerator burger patty with some bread. No, just for some good stuff. Mike, how about you, Mike? You had anything good?
No, actually, I'm quite hungry right now. We had barbecue today. We did do a barbecue. Yeah, just before I casted, I got to eat some quick lunch, but you know, it's been a long night. Looking forward to going and getting some meat out, getting some potato salad. Very, very exciting for me right now. It's 11. Not gonna get linked up. Burrow strikes away every time anyway, so you're not really getting any value out of it apart from that 9 damage you initially get. Because you could have almost got Kishka, but he was right on the edge of that plasma field, so not quite getting caught out. Meanwhile, supports in the Radiant Triangle just kind of fighting over not letting each other stack. I mean, or rather Yif, not able to get that triple stack off thanks to Ace 12. In the courier of the Tide may drop, but GY, he does get his items first, so the boat is going to fly in, and there is a nice rotation out from Sanctity. GY is a very tanky boy, but they should eventually have enough. Current setup, going to help out. They are rotating to help out GY. In fact, GY is actually walking away, but it's not going to be there. Ace 12, he does commit the brain sap another time, and he'll take the first blood gold. And Sanctity even thought about diving the top tier 1 tower, but decides better of it. He'll just leave.
6.5 minutes. I think that's the fastest one in the series so far. Nice pickup for Lilgun. Unfortunate it doesn't go Sanctity's way, and that does give Citrus a lot of space on the mid to keep his own farm game up. Not the smoothest ride for RTA. At the same time, he's number 2 in terms of CS. So overall, you're still finding what you want in that lane. And that should still lead to the build-up you expect. Slight network lead for Sanctity in that lane. Everyone else on the side of Orca has been farming quite well. 4-2-3, 11 have been struggling in terms of getting that initial build-up. And the key timing here for Lilgun is going to be that blink on 11. He does have the Vanguard up, so he's very durable in that lane, but the blink combination with the Hoodwink is really what we're looking for here. Let's see how much more time is necessary for 11. As long as he holds that bot lane, though, he should eventually find that farm.
Still 0-1 is the scoreboard. 7.5 minutes in. 11. You're gonna run into Menu Ping, but we just cop the static. Well, now the kinetic field. There's a link to be there from BT Faded at this point, and 11, he does have the Burrow Strike, but he will wait out the Glyphs. Still plenty of damage being dealt. 11, oh, he's had a mana! What the hell happened there, John? He had the mana. What am I missing?
Not sure.
Sanctity. Boat's gonna fly in. They might get a great trade out. BT Faded gonna avoid the torrents or just trying to run away, but Sanctity eventually should be able to get this. Surely. Stick charges are there. There's your tide bring a hit. That'll be enough.
You set sail for
Really unsure what happened to that Sanking, though. I could have sworn he had enough mana for Burrow Strike.
Maybe he leveled it up. I don't think he got a level in that time. Still, DD on Citrus.
Oh, he's 12 gonna run. He's gonna be alright. Unable to get within range to really catch out the Bane. I was gonna say 4-2-3 on the TB, John. We haven't talked about him in a long time, but he's kind of falling a little bit behind in net worth, isn't he? I suppose against the Tide, it's not the easiest lane, but a little bit more behind than I thought. And well, speaking of BT Faded, he's going to show up now, and 4-2-3 probably going to be left a lot further behind. It's a great rotation in from the Razor. Does punish the Terrorblade.
And this is what we were talking about a while ago. The lanes are feeling a lot stronger from Orca. The only lane that really they lost out on was mid for Citrus, but even then it wasn't a shutdown. So you're still getting that progression on the TA. You've kept that TB behind. It's a very defensive lane for TB Bane. There's not much aggression you can do with a Metamorphosis out. And that just allows GY to constantly play. Like, he's super durable. He's got Anchor Smash leveled up. Every single time mate hits down, he runs up. Anchor Smash, no damage. So, really good time for Orca so far. You do manage to get that top tier 1. Lilgun are grouped down bot. No Metamorphosis on 4-2-3 yet, but it does look like they will get the tower trade in the end, evening out map control just a tad bit. And that is map control they need. They need an area for 4-2-3 to farm in, they need an area for 11 to farm in, to get that blink up on the Sand King. That bot jungle is crucial for that.
Ace 12 and CGY will go for the Nightmare out, just trying to intervene with these stacks being taken. And in fact, Sanctity trying to ignore GY, just wanting the Tide bring hit to steal the stacks, but does go back in on the Tide now with the boat out. And Torrent, both connecting, but they've got help. BT Faded gonna just posture aggressively just in case they wanted to keep going. They do decide to back off. Still 2-3. Slight net worth lead for Lilgun, but you're about to hit that timing where Team Orca, they could start to get even more aggressive, especially with this Razor if they so wish. Or on the other side of the spectrum, I guess you could just keep farming, because we've seen plenty of Razors just go into the late game these days. It's not so much a early to mid game orientated hero anymore.
No, you have really great talent spikes at level 25. Even level 20 is pretty strong with the Eye of the Storm strike interval. And your build-up's really easy. You just go for BKB, refresh, gives you everything you need. You still have to worry about the grip from Ace 12. I think that's the big key in holding back the Razor in this game, holding back the Razor or TEA. So the decision has to be made in that target priority, but it doesn't hurt Orca to play too slow, because even if your Razor falls a bit behind in damage output, you always have the TA. And that's always going to be relevant considering the start out from Citrus. It's to the benefit of Lilgun, really, to actually take it slow, because they need that space out for 4-2-3, for Sanctity, and for 11 on the Blink. Still a long ways off from the Blink. 1.5k still left. Until that point, they just don't have a really good angle to take in forcing these fights out.
Yeah.
Step lively now. Your admiral is
Sanctity. Just taking the time, the way they're positioned, just making sure if any smoke's coming towards 4-2-3, they're going to be ready to break it. So Ace 12 just going to kind of hug 4-2-3 here and make sure he doesn't feel alone on this Terrorblade. Even in his own triangle, you just want to make sure. Scary times though. Citrus is farming a little bit too quickly here on the TA. It's just, I suppose, pretty standard these days, and looks like he's going for the more aggressive build in the Blink Dagger rather than the Deso first. So maybe feeling like he can get involved early on. I mean, why the hell not? You do have Razor after all, with a Tide, and there's your Smoker. This will be without Citrus, but they might find somebody. Problem is, Ace-12 is there to block the Vayne. They don't want to get the Bane. They want the carry behind the Bane. And 4-2-3, he's showing on the map. Ace-12 is not going to be able to protect him here as the Hex comes out. They've got the Thunderstrike going into the Static Storm. They are playing no games with this TB. They want him dead, and they've got him dead. Really nice rotation as Ace-12 does die to the neutrals. But I really appreciate how well they avoided the Bane and didn't allow the smoke to break their jump.
Great positioning out from Orca. Great read on the map. They find big kill they came for instead. I mean, you already talked about how far behind 4-2-3 is. He's just being kept down. He's forced to play down bot. He's forced to play around a minuscule jungle in the triangle area, giving wider space out, wider, safer farm for 11 to hit that blink, and for Sanctity to keep building up on that Kunkka, coming at great cost. So we'll see if Lilgun can start shifting that priority down the line once the blink, once the BKB is up on her Kunkka and Sand King. Until that point, it does look like they're putting 43 on front lines at risk. They don't really have forward vision here as well on Orca, on Lilgun's end to actually see those rotations. As you've mentioned, they've planted them on the triangle. So being that far forward is just a risk that they're willing to take. They've got to keep themselves in check here. Still a very even game, Mike. 3-3, less than 1k lead for Orca. Most of the course kind of tied up. Citrus and Sanctity keeping up pace. 4-3 not too far behind in comparison to Tide. Way behind in comparison to the TA. But everyone else is compensating for that. We'll see when exactly the bigger fights will break. They do get the X on GY.
Lane GY, Beach Grip will be there. They should have plenty of control this time, though the rotations were coming in, but they're not quick enough. Sanctity gonna move into that mid-tier 1 tower now. Should be able to get away with it too. It's a team like Orca just not in position to try and defend this. I'm gonna let it go for now. The glyph was there, but they've got to commit the bodies if they want the defense. I guess problem is now that you don't have Ravage or tied up, it's kind of hard to even expect the defense to come.
Yep. Going to be a free tower take for Lilgun. A very important objective to solidify the position in bot jungle. They're still looking for a little bit more, playing with the X, but not going to fully commit. Citrus again, he's had that blink for a while. He's going to want to get a jump play here.
Static Storm is there. Nice X back though, 11. Very, very nice. Here from Sanctity to make sure the Sand King wasn't going anywhere. You gotta love that little mechanic between the glimpse and the X, right? We don't talk about it very much, but it is a bit of a disruptor counter in some sense.
Yeah.
GY. Trouble again. They broke him up. Sanctity gonna be able to take care of him, no problem. So you found Ace-12, but you're gonna lose the Tide again, and it's one of the big strengths about the Hoodwick, John. That break, it really does hurt quite a bit.
It's just ruining the durability of our Tide, not having the Kraken, not being able to have that strong Dispel to break out, to look for the Ravage counterplay. We haven't seen a Ravage coming out from GY in quite a fair bit in these fights. And Lilgun are just managing to start lining up the aggression. They've got the blink up on 11. The BKB is up on Sanctity. They feel very confident with their combination for good reason. They can just instantly burst down Orca's front line, and from there, the fights just kind of collapse. Unless they have Static Storm up on Menu Ping, but it does feel like the Ravage sets up for that spell rather than the other way around. So they're just kind of messing up that equation. Lilgun, still a really even game 4-5. Oh.
Yep. Oh, they miss everything. Except the sharpshooter, but they don't have the damage to really get that kill, so Yif somehow gets away with his life intact. You appreciate the fact that Lilgun are getting so aggressive, though. Like, they understand how powerful they are right now, and it doesn't seem like Orca are interested in fighting, even with these early items up. And that's going to mean another smoke from Lilgun. 4-man into Yif again. Not quite the target you want. BT faded though. He's there as well, but they're going to try and force a fight. 11. Great Burrow Strike, and now the double bushwhack. This is not the fight they wanted. Seems to be that they thought they were alone, but well, Yif and VT getting punished for sticking around for that fight.
They overextend. I guess they didn't feel like they were playing under any sort of vision. They do get punished for it. Great positioning out from Ace-12, wrapping around the grip. And that's always going to be a massive issue for Orca. Their only cancel for the grip, outside of Lion, is really just Ravage, Static Storm, and Glimpse. And usually they use that at the start of the fight. So we'll have to see if They'll be able to keep that cancellation up, prevent Ace 12 from just getting the control they need. We're seeing a lot of output as well from Kishka. You mentioned the Hoodwink break being such a big factor. It's been on point time and time again. And for Orca, they can't afford to keep counterplaying like this. You don't want to drag your TA in, but you do want to play forward with the Tide, with the Disruptor. We've talked about being defensive with a Disruptor. It's not what you want to see with that hero. You want to be able to jump up, get a good Static Storm, get a good kinetic field along with a Ravage, and have your course clean up from there.
Roshan could be the target very soon though for Orca, John. I mean, you've got Deso up now. Might be about that time to try and start forcing the Roshan. How's 4-2-3 farming? Skadi is soon to be on the way, and he certainly ended up catching up very nicely on this TB. To a 5-man smoke now is out from Orca.
Radiant are scanning.
4-2-3 seems to know something's awry here, and he does back off at the right time. Yeah, they've read the movement very well. I'm not sure if that smoke was under vision, but Lilgun, they know exactly what's going on.
Playing it safe, playing on the protected side of the map. There was that good forward ward here from the side of Lilgun, and now they'll go for their own smoke play. They know where they are, just need to find that angle again.
Jump in, there's him bowed out. Sharpshooter is there as well. G White being broken another time on the Tide. And unless he's the one initiating, he's just never going to be able to survive these onslaughts.
Yeah, it's such a big target every single time for Lilgun, and this should allow them to find more.
They do. They've got the Lion. Great setup there from Sanctity. That'll be a second. Supposed for Lilgun now. You could probably go for the Roshan yourself, and it does seem like that's where they're headed.
And they've got Metamorphosis ready to go. Doesn't take too long for them to get the damage out, but respawns aren't too long here on Orca. They've got to know Roche is happening. They can't allow these objectives to go for free, and Lilgun will play it safe, realizing the short respawn timers on Orca. Play it safe. Keep building up. They've got the 3k lead on their side. They can afford to sit back and farm with more. It does feel like Orca's the one under pressure to play faster. They are building up towards that BKB on Citrus with the Desolator up. So a lot more durability for the TA on the front lines, and that should allow Orca to finally start finding some openings. As we still haven't seen the big BKB use from VT Faded. He has had this since, what, 12 minutes in maybe? 15 minutes at latest, and he still hasn't used it once. So it's not doing much for him, and they will go for a smoke. They've got to find something with this.
Team Orca. It's very hard. Like, you look at 11, he's just using Sandstorm in the mid lane, almost daring them to come in. Like, come on, let's go. They just never do. They could try for the Roshan snipe, but they're not going to try that either, Orca. Up towards the top lane, there's a huge creep wave, so BT Faded naturally can't say no to that. We go right after it. Go ahead and keep farming up towards that refresher orb. 4-2-3 will continue trying to work towards that Eye of Skadi before he gets involved too much more. I can't actually remember Lilgun losing a team fight this game yet.
No, there hasn't been a wider team fight. It's all been smaller skirmishes. Mainly because Orca's not been able to get GY to get the blink initiation, which is really what's hurting Orca, and that just allows Lilgun to get these pickoffs, constantly just find heroes one by one, preventing any sort of combinations out from Orca. So there's no team fights to lose when you take the Tide out first. That's the one downside of Orca right now. AC fully up on Sanctity, so more minus armor coming through, more durability for him. Up against a TA, very important to have as much armor as possible. Going to be even harder to kill off that Kunkka, considering the Brum buff as well. And Lilgun will go for a smoke play themselves now.
Once again, I mean, Lilgun, they've been successful every single time they've gone for a big smoke. I have Skadi now up. 4-2-3 wants to force a fight. Orca, they're very split right now. They are not ready for a 5-man smoke, that's for sure, but they do get a very nice scan out into their triangle. They know it's happening. Instead, Lilgun might just force the Roshan attempt, and I wouldn't quite blame them. Again, they want the fight right now. Problem is, they don't know BKB's just been picked up on Citrus, so they're also ready to fight. They just needed 30 more seconds. And suddenly Roshan is not going to be quite as easy because they're coming. Ravage is available. 4-2-3, gonna back out. GY not gonna hesitate right in. Nightmare from Menu Ping gonna save a little bit. Boat is out as well. You might be able to get the Sunder with the Static Storm. Gonna make it impossible to get it off. Still bodies melting everywhere. It's the 3-for-1 trade, but it does seem like Orca are ready to try and clean up as VT Fader will chase down Ace 12, but no, the X back into the turret. Menu Ping just kind of baiting him forward, and VT's gone too far. You got the Terror Blade, but that's all you got. They just lost too many too fast.
It's a great clearing of the back line as the spells came out. Sure, they did manage to get use of the Static Storm. The finger came out from the line. It took way too long to get that damage off, and it's the effect of that AC on Sanctity. Just the added armor is stalling this fight out long enough that the Desolator's not enough here from Citrus. This Roshan should be a lot easier to clear out now. No threat of any sort of team fight out from Orca. And Lilgun is going to have to pick it up on Sanctity. Maybe not the ideal in comparison to the TV.
They might go for a snipe here, John. Citrus is keeping tabs of the trap. GY has been back. He jumps in. Torrent is there. Roshan, Aegis on the deck. Who's got it? GY! He snatches the Aegis away. Oh, it's a great steal. Lilgun not going to be too happy about that one. They at least get the Disruptor kill for themselves. GY just Giga chatting it up and gets away with it.
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't expect that to actually work. Jumping in, no Ravage to break them off. They managed to get a good stun as well to hold them back a bit. Just a lot quicker in the fingers there for GY. That salvages the situation for Orca. Still looking good for Lilgun despite the loss of the Aegis. They've got the 4K lead. Their Terrorblades looking really scary. Their Kunk is providing way too much durability out here. And now you have the full Heaven's Halberd soon to be done on Sanctity. Just needs a little bit more for the Talisman. So the physical output of your Razor or your TA is just completely gone. That's going to hurt Orca a massive amount. We need to see that build-up coming true on VT Faden, and I think it's about time for Citrus to really take control. His lead has been decent, not massive. He doesn't have a full item advantage over any of the cores on Lilgun, I mean, at least in comparison to Sanctity. He does have Crystallis up now, so maybe some of that damage issue is alleviated here.
Ace 12 slowed up a little bit, but he's going to be able to walk away. Lilgun's still really good at just holding this mid-tier 1 tower. It has not fallen as of yet. Lilgun, they'll just keep defending this mid-tier 1. I mean, they're trying to buy as much time for 4-2-3 as they can. He is still behind. Far enough behind. Mid lane, Ravage came out, but didn't do anything. GY. Bit of a messy engagement here between these two teams, as both of them really hesitate quite a lot. Now the jump in is there, 11. He won't do the same, but look at the damage output. Citrus just melts the Sand King. Still 4-2-3. He's onto the Razor with the Fiend's Grip, and they have no way to cancel. Ace 12 just holds the Fiend's Grip the whole time, so 4-2-3. He can just clean up. Still Yif looking to jump back in. Does get the Bane kill, but it does cost him his own life. Now they'll try to GY again. And it's going to be another good team fight for Lilgun. Orca, they are just not coming out on top.
It's just falling flat. I mean, it was really messy. There was a smoke out from Lilgun before they went in. That was just immediately popped because they were in range. But they get the good flank out. 11 setting up from the back line with a great burrow strike in. They just managed to break off Orca. Losing the Disruptor immediately without the use of Static Storm took out so much from Orca's team fight. But Lilgun just had the angles to work with, had the output, had the control with Bane. It's tough for Orca. They're 6k behind. You're still in the lead here for Citrus. It does feel like you're not getting enough on your Razor. If you look at that disparity, VT Fade is 4k behind 423. And the Razor feels a lot more sensitive to being items behind. And the refresh is not quite up. He's going to need that to really get the full use of his static link to get the best output from his Eye of the Storm and the armor reduction that does provide. And Lilgun are just ensuring that none of those are ever a factor in these fights, so they can go for a little bit of a push. And the damage from Sanctity should be enough to sustain that. And that's going to be a tier 2. That's going to be the outpost. The bot jungle completely cut off now for the side of Orca. Again, choking them out from the farm they desperately need.
Doing a good job of it. The BKB now up on 4-2-3 means he's much more able to kind of deal with here. It's going to be a long time till you see Menu Ping pick up anything like an Aghanim Scepter to try and counter that. Meantime, though, Citrus does have a Daedalus coming out, so plenty of damage output from the TA. Not that that's really been a problem.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's all about how they initiate these team fights. Lilgun, they've just been more on top of it. Oh, even speaking of team fight, John, Sanctity's going to have a bloody Aghanim Scepter come.
Step lively
So
now.
Torrent Storm's
Your
going to
admiral is
kind
on
of kick
board.
in, and we all know how that goes with the Kunkka.
It gets really hard to manage, especially for the heroes without BKB. GY, obviously on the tide, you don't want to pick that up at all. You do still have decent duration BKB on VT Faded. 7 seconds isn't the longest. Same thing with Citrus, so that Ags is going to kick into full force once Sanctity does have the farm up. Orca just feels like they've given out too much space. They've been picked off too many times here on GY. This is a tough tide game. We're just seeing the value in that hoodwink pick, and Lilgun are just making the best out of it. So let's see if Orca can maybe start swinging back. They've still got this really good win condition on Citrus. He has the full Daedalus up. His damage output is good. But again, you're playing into that AC of Kunkka. You're playing into the high armor of TB. The Grum buff is insane, and Lilgun are going to look for that smoke open thing.
Oh, Yif going to be there to break the smoke. He went, oh, nice blink away. Quick reactions from both the Sand King and the Lion. Yif is a man on the run now, just trying to get the hell out of dodge. He's going to make it too. Top lane, however. Menu Ping, BT still around. BT, he'll go for the TP up. Can't say the same for Menu Ping. You'll be happy to die if it does mean the Razor is going to leave, and well, that's exactly what happens here. Lilgun not quite getting exactly what they would have loved out of this 5-man smoke, but I suppose it's something. Not too big of a deal.
Yep. Not the biggest kill, but the lack of a disruptor could lead to a nice wider team fight in the next half minute. Doesn't look like Lilgun is ready to fully force. They are taking control of the mid lane, keeping it shoved out, just securing their position on that mid tier 1. Ags is up for GY. He's got a little bit more utility to play from the backside now. Can just hold the Ravage a little bit more, so they get the blink onto 11.
Yeah, they do. Sand King gonna be fine. I mean, he's got help on the way, so Yif kind of initiating, but it's not gonna amount to anything. As that'll be another. Yif just kind of stands there and accepts his punishment. That'll be Lilgun again finding another support. Gonna move through the top lane, and well, Team Orca, they just aren't really fighting, are they, John? So it's they're just playing the dodge game, and while they are still getting plenty of farm on Citrus, it just doesn't seem like they're ready yet.
No. And they need to be a lot bigger in that TH to really dish the damage, and they really need this refresh on VT Faded to be done. And he's almost there. Is working towards the Lincolns as well. So let's see how much more time VT Faded will need to farm up, but he's sharing that space with a TA. So it's not coming out fast enough. Ags, as you mentioned earlier on Sanctity Mike, is up and running, complicating these fights further for Orca. It just feels like if they don't get a good Ravage on GY, it's done. You know, like, they need the Ravage on top, they need the Static Storm to stick, you need a good mini Ravage coming in from Yif as well. You have to find the angle, and Lilgun are just not giving any opportunities out. They're just punishing Orca for playing this 1-by-1 split up style, and they're just clumping up themselves.
Yeah. Still grouped up mid. 8 to 20, 32 minutes in.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Citrus, what has he just bought out? I just see an Orchid or something like that. No, an MKB coming out now. Almost, that is. He does need the Demon Edge. Sanctity working towards the Shivers. Scythe of Vice. Silver Edge coming out on 4-2-3 eventually. Roshan is up, so Lilgun might want to try and get started, but you've got Orca that have 5-man smoked up and making their way over.
Big items out for Orca as well. MKB is finished up with a cell, and they have that refresh.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Moving GY, big initiation of the side blades, just ripping two of them instantly. They'll both buy back. They have got Yif down to boot. 4-2-3 also finding GY now. A big Burrow Strike 11, making its way right back in. And the initial onslaught was great here from Team Orca, but they just can't take the follow-up. Lilgun just destroy them the second time around. And that'll be Roshan to go the way of the Dire. Or maybe not, they'll commit the buybacks.
Well, seen this before. GYs did manage to steal Aegis last time around. Got to move quickly though. Roche melts a lot faster with a damage of 4-2-3 now.
Yeah, you're going to make the jump in. Aghanim's Gush is going to get a bit of vision, but Roshan is already too low. They'll leave it be. Ziyef caught by a bushwhack there for a second. Sharpshooter not going to be on the mark. 11 still trying to find a Burrow Strike initiation again, but not within range. Still a massive win for Lilgun. 4 heroes going down, plus a buyback, and you even got the Aegis still to go the way of 4-2-3. Couldn't be happier here if you are the Dire team.
I'm really curious what happened there with VT Fade. VT Faded. He popped refresh. I don't think he really got a static link. He didn't use his BKB, so I'm not sure what he was refreshing for. And that's the reveal of his refresh as well, not amounting to much. And Lilgun again, just with a counter initiation. Their team fight is just so disruptive. Like Torrent Storm, Boat, Grip that you have to worry about, Burrow Strike, the Bushwhack coming out, the lesser Bushwhack from that Aghanim Shard on the Hoodwink. Too much to worry about for Orca to play with here. As they lose their mid-tier 2, top next, and the high ground should open up with the Daedalus running on 4-2-3 as well. His output's just ridiculous.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
What do you do now? I mean, like Team Orca, they kind of just... They've had their backs against the wall for the whole game, it feels like, and they just... I mean, big initiations are there, but once the buybacks fly through from Lilgun, they turn right back around, and it just feels like unless you blow up 4-2-3, nothing else is going to work. They're still finding a lot of farm on Citrus. It just... I don't think the damage on Citrus is a problem. You know, it's he's blowing people up in one shot. That's not an issue.
It's the other cores. Like, you see how much they sacrifice here on Orca to get that farm in Citrus, whereas 4-2-3 and Sanctity are at the same level. VT Faded's way too far behind. GUI is lagging behind as well. So it's all in on the TA basket. Everyone else is lacking durability. Like, we've seen VT Faded just absolutely melt. We've seen it countless of times for GY. Doesn't feel like a very tanky tide. Orca trying to get what they can, working onto a tier 2 bot, but that is opening up the high ground here.
2-2 does go down. Sanctity, though, pressuring the mid-tier 3 tower. Sanctity will go ahead and address the bot lane. Always got the X back, so very, very easy stuff for the Kunkka. Menu Ping hasn't really backed off, though. He's going to keep forcing this in and try to force the rotation back to defend for his side, because I don't think they can actually defend high ground very well here for Orca, just based off the past few team fights. Menu Ping, though, may get taken out for this, though I say that. In fact, they're looking for Kishka. There could be a glimpse back, and there will be, into the Static Storm, and that's going to be the Hoodwink gone. They'll get something, and that should put an indefinite stop to the high ground push.
Lilgun just holding back, playing it safe, being a man short. Still have about a minute 40 on the Aegis, so they do have a chance to just wait for the respawn, use that little time left to look for a bit of a fight, and run from there. Now, Orca, they've still got a bit of an angle, but they need to find a way to make it work. Ideally, you just get that big Ravage again on GUI while not losing your supports. Every single time we've seen GUI come in, the line, the Disruptor's just taking off in the back line. They need that follow-up with the Static Storm. They need the Finger, they need the Earth Spike, the Hex to keep running in these fights, and it's just not easy when your cleave damage is so high now from Sanctity, and when you've got great angles to take with the Hoodwink and the Sand King as well.
9k net worth lead is there for Lilgun, though it has been dropping. 4-2-3. Sanctity. Trying to move in again. 43 seconds on the Aegis remaining. They still can't really address this bot lane though. It's just constantly been forced in by this Disruptor. Which is not something you see very often, when you ping just kind of doing it on the Disruptor, but that's exactly what he's done. So maybe Kishka finds him now. The Acorn shot does land, but the Bushwhack is off the mark. In the end, menu ping, he's actually getting away with this. They don't believe he's still here.
Yep. Doing God's work, and that should allow him to farm up the Ags as well. So AoE mute on the Static Storm. And you're really strong in taking some of these fights. They come in, they will throw out the D-Ward, and they will find that Obs with the gem. All too late. Max value already taken there for Orca. Aegis does expire. So you know what that means for both of these teams, Mike? Wait for next Roshan.
Who would have known, John? Who would have known? I think you were complaining about a second Roshan. You still complaining, John?
Yeah, I don't want it.
Oh my god, you're so stubborn. You're so stubborn, John.
Play the other game. Play the other game, Mike. I will hold on to this.
No.
Because I don't know what they'd put
John,
in.
you adding an extra Roshan doesn't mean you suddenly League of Legends, John. Right?
It does make it very similar, Mike. It does make it eerily similar. So I'd rather not. I mean, we've already made denying less punishing. And we've taken steps on that. We've taken... Our new heroes all have vector targeted abilities built in with mobility, stun, damage, and durability and some. You know, I just don't want to go all the way there. Mike. You know, I want us to be different. That's all I'm saying.
We're always going to be different, though. Have you watched League of Legends, John? It's pretty
You've
bad.
seen our early game here? You've seen our early game here?
Very true, John. That's a very good point.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on
Sadly, I think the early game of these games have been more exciting. I'm not gonna lie.
That's true. That's true. It's been a lot more on edge. I think it just boils down to playstyle. In this specific case, they just know a lot is on the line, especially for Lilgun. They know if they jump in, they understand how farmed Citrus is. They understand that if a good Ravage Static Storm does come on top, they will melt. So they don't want to risk it, and they're just giving Orca this chance to farm. Menu ping is just so effective. You see him all across the map, planting forward wards, 2 parts away from that Ags. This is actually really important. The fact that your pause 5 is allowed to scale like this is pretty damn big. As it looks like both sides will go for the smoke play now, Mike.
Yeah, that they will. 5-on-5 smoke situation. I mean, Citrus is still top net worth. He's got everything you could ask for. He still does... I guess you could get rid of the treads if you want and get something else, but... It's kind of like you're looking to Divine Rapier territory very soon for good old Citrus.
8 norths and full ahead.
They move. Oh, if they can find 4-2-3, that's the target you want. Although, yeah, they're going to run right into him. BKB has been popped very quickly by this TB, but they're still aiming him down. They might have enough as well. The Satanic's not going to allow him to survive. Oh, VT faded with the double ulti, just ripping them. And now with the Ravage out, GY setting up a perfect team fight. Sanctity, he will pop the BKB, he'll pop the Torrent Storm, and he'll just TP out. But that Torrent Storm actually ended up finding GY and Yif as he was TPing out. That's the first team fight I think that Team Orca's actually won this game.
Yep, they make it work in a big way, and that's because they're on the aggressive. They get a good first Ravage, they had to refresh up on GY. That's the difference when your Tide doesn't die first, Mike. You managed to get the control you need. No Roshan to play for, but high ground has opened up. Respawns aren't too long, especially in that Terribly, but even with a respawn, he's not going to have Metamorphosis. So a lot of pressure here on Sanctity to control this high ground push. But with the damage of Citrus, doesn't take too long. Hoodwink buyback is enough to force them back. A minute till Roche. That should allow at least the Tide Hunter to be back up. Ravage not going to be back up as well on that timing. So the Roche fight could be a bit of a messy one here, Mike, for either side. Seeing some of those key spells aren't ready to go on the respawns.
5k. I mean, who's winning this game anymore? That's kind of what I'm wondering. It's
close.
It's 47 to 53% right now, Dota Plus.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
I think that's
Another
that's
round?
about where I'd put it. We're at. I didn't even realize we're at 42
Yeah,
minutes.
it's a bit
I thought
like
we were
that.
at 30 minutes. I thought we were at 30. I didn't. I don't know. Late game disruptor with Ags out now, Mike. That's a big trick. And Razor at this point. Refresh Lincoln. So Shiva's next. Toss out the Falcon Blade. Just build up. I think you're in a pretty good spot for Lilgun. It's just back to that last point from game 3, where it's all down to late game execution, late game team fight control. Who gets to kill who first? Who gets the good buyback angles here? And that's where it starts to get risky. We're not at the point where every team is always going to have buybacks, though. So that is the risk for both sides right now. Not fully secure with having all their items up. Roche is spotted out by Orca with a trap. Roche number 3. Cheese and Ags for free coming out. That could be big if they give it to Citrus if they want to go in. But Lilgun are out with a smoke here first.
They are. Team Orca gonna hold the high ground. Roshan. It's been scattered by both sides. Lilgun gonna hold their ground for now. I mean, they've seen that there is a chance Orca can actually fight back, and the team, or rather the team fights have become a lot more even. They're going to be a lot more respectful against Orca, it seems. So we are going to have a 5-man smoke now from Orca. Not much vision around the Dire jungle here for Team Orca. Lilgun have got the superior vision in this area, so it could be a little bit problematic. They are going to start moving up. There's a ward being placed, and that's going to make it very obvious there's a smoke going on. So Sanctity and Lilgun, they'll get ready for it. So Team Orca, I mean, your 5-man smoke for the ward, that's fine. But I think Lilgun are just going to switch over to the other side now. Or maybe just stay here and hold their ground.
They know Roshan's too important. They can't actually leave this area. They've got to contest. So just stay still, force them to walk up, and you've got a bit of a stalemate. Remember the last time this fight broke out, it did favor Orca in this position, but the mid lane is shoved in. Something has to be done about that. No one really has the same mobility as Kunkka with XTP back. So you are getting a little bit more work done from Lilgun just from having steady chip on that tier 3.
And they go. Roshan has started. Torrent mode is out, but the BKB has been forced. Citrus going to go all the way for the Aghanim Scepter, Aegis and Cheese. It's all on the deck. Citrus, he's got the Aegis for Sanctity. He takes the Axe. Meanwhile, on the backside, Ravage is out. They've caught the TP again. 4-2-3 is going to melt. And BT baited. He'll keep going as A-Swarm will drop. They're trying to get the Aegis down. They've got it, but what does it matter? They get completely wiped out. And the only positive there was the Ag's blessing was stolen by the Kunkka. But that's it.
Yeah, he can sell his Ags now, as I guess he did consume it. So and that does hold off on Citrus's Spike with his own jump around capability, but it doesn't matter. They managed to find the big kills in exchange. Buybacks are ready from Lilgun. Even if you buy back from TB, he doesn't have Metamorphosis. So they can't really force too big of a fight here.
He baited. Not minding the boat fleet flying in here from Sanctity. Rather sharpshooter off the mark. 11. Gonna move in, but they still have a T2 mid tower. So Orca, they have to address that, and this buyback, well, you start to question whether it was really worth. BT faded, does get caught by a bushwhack. Torrent Storm is there as well, but with that down now, BT faded. He wants to go for the fight. Beam Grip will hold him down. Earthspike is there to try and cancel, but BT is still just getting controlled up as the X is there now. In the meantime, A-Storm does get deleted by Citrus. But it does appear that Team Orca need to go back and respond down to that bot lane.
Yep, they're going to need to hold back. You do have the money to buy out the full Ag's Blessing or synthesized Ag for Citrus, so he's going to be set to jump around the map, matching the split push of Lilgun, matching the lane fixing that Lilgun can do with the Kunkka. And that does open up a lot more possibilities for Orca, Mike. Look at that netward swing down Orca's way. Minimal at this point, 47 minutes in. But they have managed to find their momentum swing back. And at this point, the disparity with VT Faded and Sanctity and 43 is not really important. He can still do his job. On the Razor, going for the overwhelming blink next. You really just need more EHP on this guy. HP is going to be the way to go. And once he's on top, getting the static links off, you feel a lot better. So let's see what the response from Lilgun will be. 1 Rax down, 1 lane they'll need to constantly repair. Could be the big play here, Mike, is to wait for Roshan, as we've seen both teams tend to.
Yeah.
It is still 5 minutes away until we see that timer up. Double damage is there, though, so they might be tempted to fight.
Which Roshan? Oh wait, there's only one. Oh well. Guess we'll
Wow,
just
Mike.
we'll wait the 5 minutes to find out when Roshan spawns, John.
Yeah. You know, what would you do with a second rush? Let's see. So you put the objective. What does it give, the second objective?
I don't know what it gives,
You have
John.
power runes.
But at
You
least
have
it's-
power runes that does the same thing as the buff of the Lord or Baron or whatever the hell
It
it's
has
called.
nothing to do with League of Legends, John. In fact, they copied literally Dota. So if anything,
True.
that's our idea, John. They, you know,
Just retroactively make it ours. It's all ours.
well, if you copy
like
the
that.
base game, right? If you take the base idea, the base concept, then theoretically your future ideas have just become ours automatically, do they not?
Fair enough. Look at that wraparound. Both sides going the exact same way on the clock. So some good clock movement out here. Not allowing anyone to find the angle with their smokes. That will put Lilgun under vision. Oh, well, Orca under the vision of Lilgun with their own obs wards up there. So should be a good opportunity to run up here.
I'll try. Sanctity. No, again, just not finding the opening they want. I mean, it's very tense, this game number 4. Naturally, of course, Orca, 1 game away from winning the grand final, and of course, Lilgun do not want to throw the advantage they had earlier on back the way of Orca.
Dyer's tower is under attack. Dyer's structures are fortified.
Lilgun still just posturing around the triangle, but Orca will just stand their ground. They'll just wait. In fact, now you've got Citrus out of there. Maybe this is the time to try and initiate, but the rest of them TP'd out.
Yeah, I think they understand the movements coming through from Lilgun. They're just working the map more, getting as much farm as they can on Orca's end to wait for that next rush. And back to that discussion, Mike. How about your ideas? Of course, we wouldn't know what's on the second objective because it's not there. But
Well,
what
I'm
would
s-
you put?
Look, it doesn't even need to be a second Roshan, but there needs to be something else to play for on the map at this point. My point is, if you don't change the map enough that the meta changes, then you've got to add more objectives. And I don't mean shrines and outposts and that kind of crap. Like something actually valuable. Because otherwise
Fair.
you have these 10-minute segments of nothing happening.
As we have experienced all throughout the series.
Yeah.
Again, can't fault the teams for playing it safe.
No, not at all. It's
I
not the
know.
team's fault. They're playing the game, John. I'm not complaining about
Yep.
the teams at all. I'm saying there needs to be more objectives.
Yep. I still wonder, though, like, what would you do to differentiate it? You could go Heroes of the Storm way, and if you kill the thing, it will be like a super creep in lane. That could be an interesting angle.
No.
Make the Year Beast an objective.
No,
well-
no. That's not it, John.
Well, I don't let a team-wide buff just sounds super lame. You know, like 20% damage output, 20% damage reduction,
Radiant's
depending
middle
on the
tower
color of
is
the
under
beast.
attack.
Nobody
let's
said
just
that,
say-
John. Nobody said the
No, but-
buffs.
No, but I'm saying, what else is there?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe add Aghanim Hilt or something. I told you, Aghanim
Yeah,
Hilt.
you did have that idea. Yeah, true.
Anyway,
Make the full thing.
Sanctity, he's gonna get caught here. BT faded, will move in with the BKB out and the double. Eye of the Storm, and Sanctity eventually is not gonna be able to take this much as the Ravage now flies out, but it's
He X'd
completely
himself.
whiffed from GY.
Is under attack.
I mean, he X'd himself, John, but he never got stunned by the Ravage.
It's a refresh.
Oh, now the Bushwhack to hold GY down. He does have a second Ravage if he does wish to pop it, but his team is not around to help him out. But they are still... Oh, wait a minute, a DD rune has been found. They have got a TD.
Tower is under
Maybe it
attack.
is time to go back, but it doesn't seem like Orca wished to.
Is under attack.
They will back again.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Yep. Play it safe. No one losing anything major just yet. But good position for Lilgun to be aggressive here.
Radiant's
Gishka.
bottom tower has fallen. Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
Static Storm going to be dropped on that Hoodwink. Not going to be quite enough damage, but actually with the Gush, if it had connected, it may have been. But anyway, they'll leave. The Disruptor will be able to get out.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Team Orca, I mean, it's neither side's out of this game yet. I mean, it's been a very tense grand finals here between these two. Lilgun are still trying to address the top lane, which is again being forced in by super creeps constantly. But I believe Lilgun are very well aware that they've got at least till the next Roshan before the next high ground comes in. So it's a very safe time for Lilgun, at least for now.
Yep, they've got a window. Hold back their ground. Get some farm going. Equalize just a bit. Very even state of game. 19-26. 2k lead for Orca at 53 minutes in. Doesn't count for much. I wonder if we'll see new tier 5 items again here. Because that's going to be a distinct possibility. How is it that the best of 5 finals are the longest games we've ever seen in the past 3 months?
Yeah.
How?
Do you really want me to say it, John? You want me to bring up the idea again?
Oh my.
Well, what can I do, John? You know, they didn't change the map enough. That's the answer for you.
I think it's an economy issue.
Right.
It's just too valuable to stand back and farm.
True.
I mean, they did try changing it with the bounties, but that just amps up the risk factor of running in. So you play safe because economy in jungle, it's not too bad, right? The reward for playing risky is not high enough to overcome the jungle advantage. So maybe a change up there in the economy, which we've been talking about for a year, right? Remember the last major patch when Beastmaster got his weird ags? We were talking about economy changes. That was a year ago. So I think something has to be done about the economy, because otherwise you're at this point where the jungle's so rewarding that you don't want to look for the kills because it's too risky if you don't have buyback. So you're stuck here.
Which is eerily similar to another game, John. Isn't it?
That's true, Mike.
Smoke up.
That is.
No, it's not, John. Don't you ever admit that again. Here we go. Sanctity may get caught here by the smoke. He's just trying to... Oh, no, he's X'd himself. This is not good timing. BT Faded going to jump in immediately in the Ravage. It's going to connect this time. No messing around. They will throw everything at Sanctity to make sure he dies. So 4-2-3 going to go for the counter initiation onto the Razor with the Fiend's Grip to hold him down. They should have him. And they will. Roshan, though, still 20 seconds away. Both teams not willing to let this one go for free. You do have buyback on BT Faded. He might need to commit, though. I think you do want this Roshan. It does seem very important.
For sure. Can't afford to give this one away for free. 4-2-3 still has quite some time on that Metamorphosis. Roshan not going to take too long for them. They still have Ravage ready to go here if GY finds the angle.
We got GY. It's been caught. Sharpshooter's going to land, but he's got the Aeon Disc and still has a Ravage available. Problem is he's just being constantly locked down. Now the Hex is out. They will not let this man leave. BT Faded, he'll force the fight now, and the Ravage is there. Connecting on one hero, but they've got the Kunkka. Sanctity with the Torrent Storm and the BKB just going to run in and out, trying to find that right angle. We'll move back in now. GY will rejoin the team fight, and Menu Ping. He gets the dieback on the Kunkka with a massive Static Storm from this Disruptor. It's 4-2-3. He's going to pop the BKB, trying to get something for his team, but what can he do? He's got no mana. They're without the Kunkka now, John. Scary times. Bushwhack. Oh, they're going to get him. Kishka is gone. 11 has reinitiated, but he is again kind of alone. They've already committed the Terror Wave. So the Metamorphosis, it's going to wear out. BT Faded sees this. He gets the vision for the glimpse back into the double Earth Spike from Yif. Oh, that might be it. We might have our grand champions here, John. As they will clean up Roshan. Citrus with a triple kill on the TA. There's going to be a buyback from 4-2-3, but it's a 5v2 situation. With Refresher Shard, with Aegis, with Cheese. All
This is
all luck
really
with him, John.
Scary.
It's hard.
Yep. I mean, you have the Ags up on VT Faded from the Blessing. He has the Refresh Shard, so double Hive to Storm, triple Hive to Storm if you really want to play that way. Melting Tower is really fast. Refresh up on TV, so he will have Metamorphosis.
Go, BT Faded.
He's gonna have the chance.
Right in for the jugular. BT, he's already, rather 4-2-3's already got the BKB popped up, but he will refresh. They've got to try and find a way to defend this Ancient, but Team Orca, they want to go right for that jugular as 4-2-3. He does get menu ping, but BT Faded. He'll focus down the Ancient. In they go. Fiend's Grip is out onto the TA, but it doesn't matter. We'll have our champions of the BTS Pro Series Season 10, and it's going to be Team Orca. And let me tell you something, John. It's kind of out of nowhere for these guys.
Yeah, left field coming out from Orca. I mean, this game looked tough for them, right? Like they were behind, they were losing their tide constantly. GY had such a tough game. They couldn't get the Ravage initiation they want. And Lilgun just played spectacularly well. They built up on Sanctity. They got 4-2-3 a stronger start. And they had that combination with the Hoodwink and the Sand King, but they didn't manage to clean up. And the patience from Citrus, the patience from VT Faded, the patience of Orca as a whole to just hold out, get the build-up they need, you know, hit those spikes they needed, and just find that opportunity really worked out in the end. I think seeing how close these two teams were, and that playstyle of just pushing it until late game to make it all boil down to decision-making does show that Orca managed to coordinate together as a team really well, and you gotta admire just the performance of every single player from Orca. Menu Ping, that insane blink forward with a Static Storm, that was just wild to see.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. Team Orca, like, we talked about this the previous series, but a lot of these players are newer faces, newer names for us at the very least, John, and we've been here for quite a while in the SEA region. But man, oh man, do they look hot right now. These players looking very, very spicy, and, you know, Team Orca, I want to say, John, that they seem like they should be a Div 1 team. I know it's people get a little bit upset when you bring up the DPC and you go Div 1, Div 2, whatever. They really look like a Div 1 team.
Oh yeah, they've performed really well. It's just unfortunate that Div 2 and Tour 1 was so competitive. We saw NGX, we saw Polaris, Lilgun as well that they just faced up against. It was a very tight space. And I think that Div 2 will stay a tight space going into the next tour. So we'll see how well Orca can overcome. This is a great launching point for them. DPC is only about 10 days away. It's actually not too far off, Mike. So very important time for all of these teams in these tournaments to do well. And Orca just showing us that they've got that playstyle to make it work.
Yeah.
As we should see, we do have an interview lined up. We're just going to have to wait for the players to come in. I believe it should be a double treat, but we'll see what does happen when they do come out. But very spectacular plays coming out from them. Lots of patience. This is probably the longest best of 5 we've ever casted in the history of all 10 Pro Series, man. Can you believe that? Well, 10 Pro Series as well?
Can we say that?
Gosh.
No, can we say that, John? Because we never went to a Game 5, right? Like, I don't know if the time would really lapse that. Because the thing was, the first 2 games were what? 58 minutes and then 72 minutes.
True.
They were kind of insane. But then the second game was like 30-something minutes, or even just 30. And now this game, it was quite a bit longer, this one. 58 minutes once again. Had we had a Game 5, I think we could have officially said that's the longest grand final we've ever casted. Mind you, again, props to the teams. It was a very tense grand final.
Oh, yeah. Very, very on the edge. And I do believe we've got our interview waiting. We've got one. I'm being told multiple people will join in. So we'll see the build-up, I guess. As we already have one on standby. It looks like the team really wants to send a message here, Mike, but that should be a fun little chat coming out.
Well, let's see what they have to say, John. I'll bring him in right now.
All right.
Hello, who are we speaking to? Hello. How are you guys?
BT Faded.
It's BT Faded. Hello, BT Faded. How you doing, sir?
Wait, the other team is coming. I feel hyped, because I think we win the tournament and we come so far.
Yeah.
And we feel like these are 2 games are very difficult to play, and we managed to come back.
Yeah, I mean, I got to talk to you about that game too, VT Faded. That looked like a real rough affair, lasting, what was it, 72 minutes or something. How did
Yeah.
what were the comms like? Like how do you guys come back from that?
I think we also not sure, but I think they made some mistake, and also we managed to come ourselves, and also the RG Citrus performance is like way too good. I think I didn't
Wow.
do much that game. Yeah.
Go on, John.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm curious. You guys went in here. You know, Tour 1 of Div 2 looked very promising. Unfortunately, you know, you guys didn't manage to go up. Did you guys have the expectation to go that far in here as well, or did you guys expect maybe a more modest result overall in the tournament?
Can you repeat again, because I didn't listen you clearly?
No problem. Did you guys expect to go the distance here all the way into grand finals up against the other teams, or maybe you guys expected not quite the best results, but enough results to show the improvement in the team?
Yeah, I think so too. I think we improved quite a lot, and I felt quite happy for our performance recently, and managed to beat down T1 and also Lilgun, because we lost to them on the upper bracket final. But I think we should like focus on TBC as well, not just this tournament. Yeah.
Fair enough. Now I'm curious. We've seen a lot of teams start to huddle up in team houses. With the change up from Ragdoll to Orca, is there any plan in line to have all of you in one location to start playing in the next few tournaments in the DPC?
Basically, we have got 2 China players. And we cannot travel to China, right? Or they cannot travel to us. So only me, GY, and Citrus are playing in the bootcamp when during the DPC. But the other 2 guys were just playing at their home or at China. Yeah.
Okay.
But hopefully after the COVID, then we can like start to playing together. Yeah.
Now that is good. At the very least, you guys are clumped up. You still have that physical contact with each other in the DPC. For that next DPC, I am curious about your thoughts here. We all know some of the teams in. We're still expecting 2 teams to come in from open qualifiers, but from the teams left in Div 2, is there any single team that you guys really want to play against that you think is going to be a really good opponent to fight?
I think Team Talon is a very good opponent, and I feel they're quite solid, and with their new lineup like Savage and the Q. I'm looking forward to like play against them. Yeah. And they are also like very tough opponent for us in the DPC.
All right, and that's great to hear. And I'm wondering, you know, how do you expect Tour 2 to be harder or easier than Tour 1? Because Tour 1 was a pretty tough tour. Do you expect Tour 2 to be just as hard coming up here?
Preferably like easier, but I mean nothing is going to be easy if you want to like to reach Division 1, right? Everyone wants to win. Yeah.
BT
Hopefully we
Faded,
can improve on that.
Can I ask you as well? What are you guys doing to celebrate now that you guys have won? What's the celebrations like?
Not sure. I don't know, because everyone is just staying in their own house, and I also don't know what is the celebration. Maybe like some chilling and whatever. Because TBC is starting on next week. I don't think like we maybe only will have 1 day off. I guess. Then maybe go eat some nice food, hot pot, and beer.
Oh yeah.
Maybe some beer. I wish to, if it's a LAN tournament, maybe I can have beer or champagne with you guys.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh yeah.
I look forward to it, BT Faded.
Nice.
I drink a lot, BT, though, so you're going to have to keep up, all right?
Of course, I'm a drinker as well.
With that, I think we'll let you go, BT Faded. Again, congratulations on you guys' victory. You guys look fantastic. We can't wait to see you guys in the DPC next tour.
Yeah, thanks you for amazing event and nice caster, and also like organization. Yeah, thanks all of you.
Thank you, BT.
And thanks whoever supporting us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you all.
Love you.
Thank you, Jahao.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye. Yeah.
Bye. What a nice guy, John. He even dropped
Oh,
the
yeah.
I love you at the end. I mean, that's obviously being a married man. I automatically had to say it back, Jonathan. That's any married man or woman out there understands what I mean. But when your partner says I love you and you don't say it back, John, that's a death sentence right there. So I had to, my reflexes just kind of kicked in and I had to tell him I love. But I do love VT Fader, John. Why wouldn't I love VT Fader? He's a great guy.
You can hear how nice he was, how thankful he was, how confident they are as a team, and how they're just steadily improving. You know, that's what they're looking for from the tournament. The results do exceed our expectations, which is always great. And we're hoping for great things for them to come out from Tour 2. So big congratulations to Team Orca. They've been doing great. I think everyone's going to be looking at Div 2 to be one of the hot spots of Southeast Asia because it's always been competitive, Mike.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be really exciting now that we've seen how great these teams are playing. Even more competitive than it used to be, which is kind of scary to think about. Still with that, John, that is it for the Grand Finals. And obviously you and I have another Grand Finals we need to be watching, which is why I kind of let BT Faded go, because I'm sure he's watching the same Grand Finals that everyone else should be watching. John, before we go, you know what happened in Game 1, John, the bug. You know the bug. Do we
yes, I know that bug.
Do we talk? No, we can't talk. It's not our part. We can't talk about it. We have to let it go. We'll have to let it go. I'm a bit upset. Right now. It's probably best we log off.
Too.
It's MLP Dota. It's John xfire. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you all again next time.